Everybody, welcome back to the Clean and Sober Podcast, How to Be Alcoholic. This is episode 4 on Zoom. My name is Jeff Deck. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is June 14th, 2013. Tina, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Tina. I'm an alcoholic and addict. My sobriety date is August 4th, 2020.
So you just picked up 5 years, huh?
4, but yeah, I'm well into my 5th year.
Well, 2020 or 2021?
2021.
Oh, shit. I thought you said 2020. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're well into year 5. That's right. My bad. And I see you're wearing a Denver shirt, so that takes care of my first question. You're not from Jacksonville, huh?
No, I moved here 8 years ago.
And it's not polite, but can I ask you what your age is?
I'm in my 40s. I'm 40.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said so. I
Nobody would
wouldn't
have
have
guessed
said
that.
so. Yeah, I'm trying to get like see, like how everything went here. So you're in Denver, Colorado, and how old were you when you kind of took your first drink or experimented with your first drug?
I was about 14.
A lot of people say that's kind of a late bloomer.
I don't know.
I've
guess
heard so
other
many
people, I don't know. I've heard 13s and 12s and shit, 8-year-olds and
Yeah, yeah. I was 17 when
totally
I
different.
I got drunk I took my first drink at 6, got drunk at 9, and off to the races later on. But yeah, okay. So 14, you had your first drink of alcohol. I guess you were like a freshman in high school.
It was the summer before my freshman year, yeah.
And were you just with a bunch of friends, or did you like steal it from your mom's liquor cabinet?
I was with my one friend, where my dad lived. I had one friend, and we stole it. We stole the vodka from her mother and the pot from her stepdad.
So where you lived, what part of Denver?
Well, actually, I was born in a suburb of Denver called Lakewood. And then I lived in Steamboat Springs with my mother, and my dad lived in Glenwood Springs, and I kind of bounced back and forth between the two.
So were these like kind of like country kind of places, city, like a lot of people, not many people?
They're little mountain towns, resort towns.
Oh wow, a lot of visitors, a
Ski
lot of guests.
resort.
Was
Yeah,
skiing and shit everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it though, like growing up in that town?
I mean, I didn't have a lot of friends, but I, I think that was just because I didn't know how to make friends.
Right.
I wasn't really taught how to do that.
Well,
Um,
when you started
but
like, good. I'm sorry. When you
I
started
mean,
drinking,
in
was it
Steamboat,
when you?
I had a ski pass, so that was kind of cool.
Oh shit! I listen. I'm scared to death of going skiing. I've never gone skiing. I won't do it. I won't jet ski. No, I've jumped out of a plane, but I won't jet ski. I won't get on a motorcycle. I won't go skiing. I won't do any of that.
I'll do any of that except for jump out of an airplane.
Oh my God, you're crazy.
No.
Tina used to be an alumni coordinator at Lakeview, and I was an alumni coordinator at Lakeview too. She came in right after I left, and one of the things that we used to do is every month we'd have a different alumni event, and dating back to so many years, every time we would ask the alumni what they wanted to do, and you know who was big into this? Frankie. And it was so funny because the alumni wanted to go skydiving, but the liability
Yeah.
of it wasn't allowed. It was like everybody kept checking skydiving, like they kept writing it in and everything. That would have been great. But okay,
Like it was a
so
possibility.
yeah. But you're in Denver and Colorado, and you told me something real interesting yesterday. You go to meetings for kids of alcoholics. What are those meetings called?
Adult children of alcoholics. There's, I think, 8 meetings here locally in Jacksonville. I've been
And is
to
there
a few different locations.
is are those meetings listed anywhere?
There is a website for adult children of alcoholics.
Guys, if you're listening to this or watching it, I should say watching it because we'll be on YouTube and Facebook, and for some reason I can't get it up on TikTok anymore. It's weird. But if you need help finding those meetings, obviously Google, Bing is good search fields, but contact Tina. Contact me. I'll look them up for you. That's just an awesome resource. I didn't know they had those until yesterday. I mean, I know about Al-Anon and everything, but I didn't know they had those. That's pretty cool. And do you get a little bit of a turnout there?
They're smaller meetings, but it's definitely a good turnout, like a good group of people. It's a very safe space.
Okay. So you take that drink, 14 years old. Was it like off to the races, or did you progressively over the time in high school start drinking more? And when were you introduced to drugs?
Well, obviously my first drink and my first joint came on the same date.
Oh.
We, yeah, we were drinking and smoking pot all at once. And it was that one friend who, she'd been doing it for a while, and she was my only friend, my best friend. So she wanted to introduce me to her world. She brought me into it, and that summer basically was the beginning of it all. And that year kind of set a nice base of like what I can handle, what I can get away with, what I can control in my
Mhm.
use of drugs and alcohol. And then it did progress from there. It was just like kind of here and there on the weekends or when we could get away with it. But eventually it was, you know, parties at my mom's house every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night while she was at work at the hospital overnight. So they always knew where to go.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. It was your mom who was an alcoholic?
My mom's the alcoholic. My dad had the weed stash, so
Okay.
that was where I found. That's where I had the friend was growing up with my dad's house.
So
The
you
friend
said
that got me.
parties when your mom was out like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, working and everything. When you say parties, was it just like you and your friend, or you would invite a bunch of people over?
Oh, so this would be the next year when I went back to living with my mom. She worked at the hospital overnight, so it's kind of funny. We started just having like maybe a Saturday night party while she was working the overnight shift, and we got people trained to they had to be out by 5 o'clock in the morning, so we
Mm.
could clean up and it be no evidence of it by the time she got home at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. Then it was, pretty much every week we had a big group of people at my mom's house every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night. Bring your own beer, show up with whatever you got. And one night, actually, I got so drunk off of screwdrivers. I can't even drink orange juice anymore because it was so
Oh,
bad. I was obviously like way far gone, and I'm sure I had alcohol poisoning, and they kept trying to take me to the hospital. They kept wanting to take me to the
mhm.
hospital to get my stomach pumped. I'm like, no, you can't take me there. My mom works there. That'd be, we get in trouble. We'd never be able to
Oh,
do it.
that'd be weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be the worst idea.
You know what's funny? You're saying that brought back memories. There was a couple of times we threw a party up in my house during the day when like there was no school, high school wise. And it was a bunch of teenagers up there all day long, and we had to get them out the house before like mom and dad came home from work, like you, right? And so like
Hmm.
2, 3, like this party started at like 8 a.m. So we would put like quilts over the windows and everything to make it dark, and so people up there drinking and smoking. And I can remember it just like smelled like, and my mom smoked in the house and stuff, and so did other people in the family,
Yeah.
but it was bad. There was like clouds, right? So the way I would handle that is obviously crack the windows, but I would time when my dad was coming home because he didn't smoke, and I would start frying hot dogs in the kitchen and have them like burning. That way, the smell of the hot dogs would be in the whole house. Yeah, I never got caught. It was so cool. Anyway, you're in high school, you're drinking, you're smoking weed. Did you progress to anything else in high school, or was that afterwards?
I dabbled in cocaine and mushrooms, but and ecstasy. Okay, I tried a few other things. I actually got in trouble with the law. I got pulled over and got charged with possession of paraphernalia from my marijuana pipe.
How old were
And
you?
I was 16. They
Okay.
put me on uh, probation for 1 year. I had to go to one Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Me and that friend, we went together and we were in the back joking around. We didn't feel like we belonged there. We weren't like
Right.
these people, right? Should have been a red flag, but I ignored that. We also took it was like 6 weeks of this drug and alcohol course, and I learned about all the other drugs that I was going to try. So that was kind of the precursor to everything else that I learned about.
So did they show you all those drunk driving videos, like the old time ones and everything? Because where I got
Oh,
mine, I had to go to Queens College, and it was 6 weeks long, and it was just like, you got to be kidding me. It was like
yeah,
1970s videos.
yeah, definitely. Like the grainy video with the
Right. Was there any
the bad
consequences to
actors.
that? Oh yeah, yeah. Was there any
No,
consequences from your parents or anything?
not really. I never really got in trouble with my like my mom, my dad. They got mad at me, but there wasn't any like
Right.
grounded or you know. Not that I
So
remember. Maybe this wasn't that bad. Like, I didn't really care.
yeah, would
Did whatever I
would
wanted anyway.
well, knowing what we know now, right, about Alcoholics Anonymous and drug addiction and everything, and that phenomenon of craving, the allergy sets in. When do you think it started getting to the point where you had to take another drink, or from the drug side of the world, your body needed it to go on for that day? Was that after high school?
Honestly, I don't think it ever got to the point where I like had to have it every day. Like okay, my marijuana addiction definitely when I was probably okay, like 2010, I was to the point where I like if I didn't smoke every day, I felt like abnormal or
Yeah, but
like I couldn't eat. I had anxiety. Like I used
right.
it for that for my marijuana addiction, but I also
That's
had
because you're from
um,
Colorado, though.
yeah, it's
Mile
totally normal out
high.
there. It's like a rite of
Yeah.
passage. You can go out there and today, like you go out there and you just drive through the city and it smells like that. But back then it wasn't like that.
No, no,
But we did
no,
it
no.
anyways. But I had the medical marijuana card. I did all of that. But I went through a couple episodes of what I now believe was CHS or cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome. At the time I was diagnosed, I spent multiple, I think it was 3 or 4 different episodes in the hospital with what the doctors diagnosed me with was cyclical nausea and vomiting syndrome. So,
What the hell?
like when you throw up,
Yeah,
and usually when you're done throwing up, you feel better, right? Because you
yeah,
got it out.
yeah.
Now,
I would
for
purposely
me, when
make
I was
myself
in
throw
one
up.
of those, yeah. So when I go through one of those CHS episodes, it would be just back and forth between the nausea and the vomiting. Like it was unstoppable. I'd end up in the
Wow.
hospital for days at a time.
Holy crap.
And I thought the answer was I just need to go home, smoke some more pot.
Right,
But it's
right.
actually the toxicity of the pot plant itself.
Well, would you
So
say, well, two things, I guess. When you drank, was there always drugs involved? Or were you more of like that spree drinker? Like, for example, I'll just wait for the weekends. And then once I start, I go for like 2 or 3 days. Then I could stop for a week and then I go for 2 or 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had moments like that too.
yeah, I mean, if I was gonna drink, I wasn't just gonna have a drink. Like, and
Right,
even if
right.
I planned to have a drink, it was gonna be more than a drink anyways. So I'd
Sure.
plan to get drunk, you
Hmm.
know. Um, even like I was in college in Denver, I would stop by the bar on the way home to have just one beer with my friend who was the bartender, and end up like having drive home drunk later on that evening, and after maxing out my bar tab.
Shit, yeah. Well, and that's
It
what
was
I was.
never just one.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
It was never just one. It was like just one more,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What is that saying we hear? One is too many, a thousand's never enough. I mean, like really,
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I can remember. God, I knew I was gonna black out, so I had to like make sure there was a little bit of wine or a little bit of alcohol of some sort left for when I woke up in the morning. If so yeah, it's just alcohol's crazy, man. But I'm glad you brought up college because that's where we're going next, right? So you did graduate high school now, and
Mhm.
you stayed in Denver, oh, Colorado, and you went to college there.
I went to a technical college, so it was
Okay.
an associate's degree. But I mean, it was still college.
What did you study?
I have an associate's in applied science and veterinary technology, so I was a veterinary technician.
Did you want to be a vet? Was that like your dream as a kid?
Yeah, I think my grandmother reminded me at some point that I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I realized that school to be a veterinarian is not only extremely expensive, but really hard to get into, actually.
Yeah.
You have to have,
What,
yeah, a lot of stuff going on for you. And I
so
didn't have the motivation to get all that done.
are you like an animal lover?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
went to technical college when I got to Jacksonville. I was like, I got to do something here or she's gonna kick me out, right? So I went to Tulsa Welding School and I made it to like phase 4 and I actually liked it, but then I got drunk and missed the test and I just never showed up again. Typical alcoholism. I should add that to my job list or something. You know. All right. So you graduated from that technical school or you just left?
I did.
Oh,
No, I
okay, cool.
graduated. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in Colorado. You graduate from there, and you're still living at home, or did you find your own place at this point?
I was actually living in an apartment that grandma bought me because I was spoiled. She took really good care of me. Um,
Mhm.
I was supposed to pay rent, but I hardly ever paid rent. She,
Yeah,
she
sounds familiar.
definitely looked back was enabling, but not intentionally. It was,
Right, right. So while
I
you're
had
living there,
plenty
but
of excuses why I couldn't pay rent.
yeah, 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 of course. But you're living there by yourself, and where'd you start working?
I worked at a couple of vet clinics in Denver.
Right.
Um, yeah, I had, you
Well,
know, plenty of relationships with them. That, like you said, that there he was. I met
mm,
the guy that ultimately brought me to Jacksonville. I'd sworn off relationships and ended up in a bar with my friend, and I met this guy, and his family lives here in Jacksonville.
what
So
year is this? What year?
that was what, 20, probably about 2015, I want to say 2013 or somewhere between 2013 and 2015. The years are blurry.
So
I think
there he
we
is.
were
Yeah.
together. So we were there. We were together for about 7.5 years, and so math is math. In about 2014 is when I met him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've been in Jacksonville 8 years, so you got here around 2017.
Hmm.
Okay. So while you're still in Denver, Colorado, did it get really bad? Did you have to go to any detoxes, rehabs? Like, talk to me about like if it got bad there and what happened, if anything.
It got bad. I was spending a lot of time at the local bars. Like I had my favorite dive bars, not just one. I had to go to a different one every night so that nobody there thought that I had a problem, right? So I had my different one for every night of the week, which is where I met the guy.
Hmm.
And uh, I was big in karaoke. That's where I found it. He was singing karaoke, and he had the voice, right?
Uh,
But I got into not only that, but my drug side of things. Like I had sworn off doing any hard drugs, and I was just I'm gonna stick to marijuana and alcohol, and I'm fine because those things never caused me problems.
Right. When did you graduate?
2011. So
You know,
this is a few years after graduation.
well, I'm not talking about college. I'm talking about graduate to like some
Oh,
hardest shit. Yeah.
I'll graduate to some harder stuff. So, um, probably about a year into our relationship, of course, I moved him into my condo that grandma bought me about a month into our relationship because
Yeah.
I'm,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But probably about 6 months to a year later, I had told him like, look, I don't want any of those hard drugs in my house. I don't want any of your friends to come over if they're going to be doing them. Like, that's not a world that I want to be in. And he started staying out late with his friend, not coming home sometimes. And I finally figured out why. And of
Mhm.
course, instead of like kicking him to the curb and be like, you screwed up. Like I was like, well, can I have some? You know?
Oh yeah.
So that kind of like spurred into my addiction and it started doing cocaine again. Um, and it graduated really fast from there. It went from just doing a little bit of coke on the weekends to smoking crack all week long, every night. So
And you guys are partaking
that's
in this
when,
together?
yeah, and that's when I decided I need to move to Florida to get away from all of the things,
But why
the
Florida?
geographic
Like,
relocation.
yeah, but why Florida? Like, was it just like random? Like, you always wanted to go to Florida? Did you know somebody here?
So my sister lived in the Keys, and I figured the beach was going to solve my problems,
Oh,
you know.
okay. Not Jacksonville Beach.
No. But I didn't know
Okay,
anything about Jacksonville when I got here, When I just figured, okay,
sure.
well, there's a beach, Florida, it's all going to be the same. We moved out here in, I think it was October of 2017, and I got really mad because it got cold, and I wasn't like, it's Florida, it should be like hot all year round.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you're in Jacksonville, so you came out here with him. So you guys both moved out here.
Mhm,
And did you like
mhm.
you had a set plate, like you had an apartment ready? You did all that. What side of town?
We sold the condo and bought an RV and
Oh
lived in an
shit!
RV park. Um, so
Yeah. You guys had a great plan.
oh yeah, we had it all figured out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get here to Jacksonville, it's 2017. Um, Talk to me about the next like 3 years before you got into recovery, 3 or 4 years. Like what started
Uh,
happening?
so like doing pretty good for probably about this first 6 months or so. I wasn't doing any, no cocaine, no crack, just smoke my weed, drinking a beer, fishing out on the dock after work. Doing pretty good. So I thought. And then of course somehow drug dealers find us. I think it was the boyfriend finding the drug dealer, but however, it
Tina,
didn't dawn
Tina,
on me that he knew people.
Tina, they found you because you lived in a fucking like RV in a trailer park. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the drugs found us
Yeah.
and got right back on that horse, right? And it was way worse than it was before. I actually was working at a vet clinic. I had probably the best job I'd ever had working as a surgical technician in a vet
Mm.
clinic, and I loved what I did. I got to work with the sick pets. I got to work with a really awesome vet doctor, and I really just did my favorite part of what I wanted to do at work. And you know, I had everybody convinced that there wasn't a problem. But there was one doctor that I worked with who kept asking me if I had a thyroid issue because I come to work and I eat and I work hard and I get my job done, and like I kept getting skinnier and he didn't get. He's like, "Have
Mm,
you gotten your thyroid checked?" I was like, "Oh, I'm sure it's fine. It's I don't
yeah,
know, like, oh, I'll
yeah,
get that checked next week."
yeah, you on a special
Yeah,
diet. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. But I had a back injury. I got pushed over by a German Shepherd who was being playful, and big dog, bad accident. I fell and I herniated a disc in my lower back, and I couldn't work anymore. So
Oh,
I was
shit.
laid up in bed, um, getting high all day, every day, um, fighting with attorneys and workman's comp, trying to get the cost of my surgery covered, and the whole, like, the injury was in January of 2020, and I finally had surgery in November of 2020, and that whole
Did they
time I
give
was
you
just
pain
laying in
pills?
bed, getting high, taking pain
Yeah.
medications, um, and I just mentally I was going crazy. I was basically, and that's right about the same time COVID, right? So I always joked around like I was social distancing before it was cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
'Cause
Where was he
like
at
I
this
had
time?
myself on lockdown.
Tina, where was
What?
he at this time? Was he still there with you at this time?
Oh yeah. Oh, he
Oh,
was
okay.
right there with me
Right.
doing all the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the one driving back and forth to the dealer's house because I couldn't go anywhere.
sure. And now you're getting pain
Yeah.
pills prescribed.
Yeah, and I never really liked pain pills, but I took them because the doctor told me, and they actually made the pain a little bit better. But
Yeah, I agree.
you
It's the
know,
same thing here. It was I was just loved alcohol and cocaine and all the hallucinogenics,
yeah.
but when there was pain pills available, like I wasn't into throwing them down my throat and eating them. I was more of the ritual, like I broke them up and sniffed them. So or I put them in like or joints or blunts and I would smoke them. I mean, that's just the kind of guy I was. Yeah. All right. So
Never tried that one.
you're laid up in this 5-star mansion, right?
Fifth
And
wheel mansion with me.
yeah. And like, did you go to detox at one point before rehab, or when did you and him break up? When did it get really bad?
So my mental state was deteriorating. I was very anxious, very depressed, and I attempted suicide. I took his gun and I put it in my mouth, and
Hmm.
he found me. Safety was on. It was kind of more of a cry for help than anything else, because I don't know that I actually would have followed through with it. But he forced me to um, Baker Act myself. He kept,
Okay.
threatening, if you don't go today, I'm gonna call and have them come get you. So we went out to a nice dinner at Chili's, and then he dropped me off at MHRC for 3 days, which was my first experience with any type of mental health inpatient, and it scared me. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't like it. I knew I wasn't gonna quit doing drugs. Like, I told them everything they wanted to hear so that I could get the fuck out of there.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
I didn't want
Sure.
to be there. It was, cold floors, not a nice place to be. No, like, actual mattresses. It was just like that really thin foam cot.
Hmm.
No doors. The soap you got in the shower was like one soap for everything. Like, it was no shoelaces. There was a crazy dude out in the hall running back and forth saying some weird stuff. So like I knew I had to get out of there. I couldn't have caffeine and there was no smoking. I
Oh,
was losing my mind. So that was my first experience, and that was in April of 2021. I got out of there and went right back to everything
sure.
same. Nothing changed, right?
Yeah, it was a nice
And I
vacation.
was,
Sure.
yeah, I was still very depressed. I took handfuls of those pills twice and tried to kill myself after that. And then, of course, I beat myself up because I'd wake up in the morning and be like, I can't even kill myself,
Mm.
right? Um, Eventually, he ended up calling his mother to come out here from Colorado to come pick him up. And he went back to Colorado to live with her. And 2 days later, I went to detox at Lakeview.
So let me stop you a second. So did you know that his mom was coming, or she just showed up?
He said she was coming to visit. I don't, and this is where it's fuzzy. I was so messed up. Like, I don't know if I
Right.
knew that he was leaving or if I like had a thought that he might be leaving. But the day before she got here, he actually did one thing that would really it pissed me off at the time. Like, I thought that he was the worst person in the world, but it ended up being the one thing that saved my life. And he
Mm,
took pictures of me, passed out on the
mm,
couch, crack pipe in my hand, drugs, alcohol everywhere, my house in complete disarray because I wasn't doing laundry or dishes. And of course, he wasn't
mhm.
helping with any of that.
No.
He sent them to my family and told them that I had a problem.
Mm.
And 2 days after he left, I went into treatment at Lakeview. I was finally able to admit, like, I need help, and I was willing. Like, I was at the point where either I was gonna finally successfully kill myself, or I was gonna do something different. And
So you went to Lakeview. What was the date?
I went in on August 5th, 2021.
Wow. So you're this is a one. I don't give a shit about chips, but you're a one chip wonder basically. You went in there and you went to the Rose.
Yep, I did 30 days at the Rose. And I was really nervous. So, like, MHRC was
Hold
like
on, hold
my
on.
thought of
August.
what it all looked like. And then I went to like looking at the website for Lakeview, and I was like, oh no, this place might be okay, but I'm worried. Like, they didn't let me have cigarettes or caffeine at the other place. I showed up at Lakeview and they offered me a cup of coffee, and I was like, yeah, okay, this
Oh,
could be okay. I was allowed to. They told me about the smoking section. I was like, "There's a smoking area. This is gonna work. I
oh
can
my
I can
God, I
maybe
just
survive
missed
this."
you then. I just missed you because
Yeah.
I was working across the street, but I was always coming over to the Rose and the Star and everything. So I got there in November of 2021. I must have just missed you. So when we started that
Mhm.
alumni meeting, that's right. You had just kind of gone out and were brand.
Yeah.
Holy crap, I forgot about that. Okay, so you up in Lakeview and you like the surroundings. You're allowed to smoke. There's caffeine. The Rose is beautiful. You know, it's a beautiful campus. You love the therapist, and we had a good aftercare and alumni team there, so I know you love that. And did you like participate? Were you like all in? Is there anybody there that you met as a patient you still good friends with now today?
Oh yeah, there's a few people that
Mhm.
I keep in touch with that were patients, and then of course staff there. There's few staff, especially since working there, that I still keep in touch with. But there's three girls that I went to treatment with there that I still talk to on every once in a while. And we're all sober. So it's
That's
amazing.
beautiful.
Like, they tell you like only like 1 in 3 is gonna make it, and out of like the dozen of us that were staying in touch after we left, there's
Yeah.
4 of us that I know of are sober. So, you know,
So what did your
that says
aftercare
everything.
What did your aftercare look like right before you're getting out? Were you nervous to go back to the RV? You still had the RV, or what were
Yep.
you looking to do? How was your aftercare set up?
Well, I had a dog. I had my dog, so I couldn't go to sober living,
Right.
and that wasn't really an option for me. So I was begging him. I was like, "Can I just stay a little bit longer here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm
I did the
scared to go
same
out
shit when
there,
I was at
right?"
Stepping Stone. I did the same thing. I asked for more time. Absolutely.
Yeah, but uh, I ended up going to Cipriano and Johnson for IOP. So I was there for the women's group every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night for like 6 or 8 weeks. Um,
What was your
and that's
experience
where
there?
I loved it. You know, it was where I learned. So all the things that I thought I learned in rehab didn't actually click until I went to Ron's, because like
Right.
I was finally like able to like comprehend things, and the fog was lifted, and like things were starting to click. Like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense as to why I am the way that I am and how I can't just have one because I'm allergic.
Yeah.
Like it is an allergic reaction.
And you were taken through the
That's how my
recovery
body reacts.
dynamics? You were taken through recovery dynamics while in the IOP. What was your experience with that?
Yeah,
Did you love it?
I
It's
loved
like
it.
so,
Yeah, and
yeah, it's like broken
it
down. So like,
it definitely was the way that it was explained that really made it click for me too. And I
yeah,
met my people there.
yeah,
My best friend. I met my best friend Liz in there, and to this day we are inseparable. Right? I
I know.
couldn't
You
life
guys are always
without
together.
her.
Yeah, you guys are always together. So from there, I know that you started coming to our we had the Tuesday night 7 p.m. Alumni meeting. So we would do that for Lakeview
Mhm.
and Stepping Stone, and you would come every single month to our alumni events. Talk about how
Oh,
like that first year or two, did you get that sponsor right away? Did you start working the steps right away? You
yeah.
remind me of me when I got into recovery. So there's something called a gym rat, right? So like I grew up playing basketball as a gym rat. I was always in the gym. I became an AA rat. I was just always
Yeah.
around, going to every meeting, all any something's going on, I want to be there. And I see that in you, and I love that. Is that
Yeah.
kind of your experience there the first couple of years? And doesn't it make it easier to stay clean and sober when we do those things?
I think so. I mean, I haven't, I have not at this point had experience with relapse, so obviously something's working. But I did before I left Lakeview. They connected me with a temporary sponsor who ended up being my sponsor for 2 years. We
Mhm.
dove right into the steps. I had them finished by the end of my first year, but I did, instead of 90 and 90, I probably did 120 meetings in 90 days. I was
Yeah.
at one, like 7 to 9 meetings a week. AA was my job, you know.
Mhm.
It was like my only outlet. Like if I had nothing else to do, I was at the AA clubhouse. I was finding ways to fellowship. I had a car. I was blessed to still have my car and my
Yeah.
driver's license and all those things. So I was picking up other newcomers and taking them to meetings and being a
Nice.
service in that way, staying connected and building relationships that way. Um, and then
What?
when I was in meetings, I was IOP and doing all the
Yeah.
other things that I could.
And so you get out of the roads at Lakeview, October 2021, whatever, September or whatever. But and then from 2021 until like I want to say August of 2023, you got 2 years there before you took the position as alumni coordinator. What were
Mhm.
you doing as far as a career before you took that position?
So I was working. I still have a lot of the residual effects from the back injury, so it was hard for me to find actual work. So when I got out of treatment, I was doing Uber delivery. So I didn't want
Okay.
people in my car unless they were
Right.
like AA people. I don't need
Yeah.
drunk people in my car. It's triggering. Um,
Right.
but I did that, and I also started my own small business. So I make fused glass jewelry and stained glass art, and my sister helped me start up the business like a month out of treatment,
Do you still
and
do it?
that kind of, yeah, it's actually something that I've got all my stuff like I've been crafted over here.
Oh my God.
So
Like I didn't
that's
know that. Do you have a website or anything?
I do. My company is called Glass Frog Design Company. I've got a Facebook and an Instagram, and since I'm no longer with Lakeview, it's kind of what I'm doing right now, trying to just keep myself afloat
Well, you know,
until I
my new
find
job,
a great place.
my new job, I'm blessed. It's funny. You went to IOP at Cipriano and Johnson Counseling. That's where I work now, Cipriano and Johnson Counseling. I'm a business developer and marketer. You need to market it, Tina. You need to put it out there, Tina. It's not going to sell itself, Tina. Okay, so make sure you send me a website inside of the
I do.
text it after this so I could put it up there and also
Okay.
invite me to your Facebook page. I mean, I had no idea about this. Shit, that's awesome. All right, that way everybody can see that stuff, please. So you're 2 years removed from the rose and you hear that there may be a position opening at the same place that you're an alumni of. And I'm
Yeah.
assuming, was it Lexi contacted you?
Well, I was working at Beaches Recovery as a BHT for about
That's
6
right.
months before.
Forgot about that.
Because
Yeah.
my sponsor told me that she thought that I would be great working in recovery. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, I tried this thing out and I got a job at Beaches and it was okay. It was overnight shift and I
Mhm.
was losing touch with my sanity. So I figured I'd try something different. And your position came open. Like at first, applied to be a BHA over there, and
Mhm.
that they didn't have any openings. And I applied for peer support, but then they filled that opening the day I sent in my resume for that. And then alumni coordinator popped up, and I was like, I'm not qualified to be an alumni coordinator. And then, of course, I talked to you, and you're like, yes, send in your resume. What are you doing? So I
Mhm.
talked to Lexi that same night, and I think a week later she had sent me the job offer because
Oh yeah, we
I
had a little
stayed
team meeting.
involved with so much alumni stuff.
I don't know if she ever told you, but we had a little. We used to have team meeting. You know, because you became one of the team
Yeah,
meetings where we all get together. And it was that week
yeah.
she brought it up. Everybody was like, "Yeah, fucking yeah, bring her on." Yeah, it's so cool. Did you? And you get in there, and I know you took off, man. Like, did you love it?
I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a big change from anything I've ever done before. I mean, they gave me the office and the desk and the phone and I'm like send the emails. I'm like, I don't know how to email. Like I had to learn all these grown up job things and, you know, run with it. But it was a fun learning experience. Like I had a great team of people to work with, as you know, and they taught me a lot. I really
And
loved being able to help people too.
and you did, and you still do because you still have this whole 2 years worth of alumni that are always going to remember you. I mean, that's the cool stuff. And
Those are my
you,
people.
yeah, and recently you're not with Lakeview no more. They made a whole bunch of changes. So, like, what does your future look like? You're looking to stay working in recovery, correct?
Yeah, well when I was at Lakeview, I got my certification as a recovery peer specialist.
Yeah.
So I have that, and I would love to have an opportunity to use it somewhere. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity to present itself. And I know that my higher power has bigger plans than I could ever have.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna, do my part, put in the footwork, and see what happens next.
And that's the answer. I mean, you're talking to a guy who's, let me see, River Region, Java Club, Lakeview, 4th Street, and now Cipriano's, right? So I've been working in recovery 10 years, so that's 5 different jobs. But each time it was like God, right? It was like I had to pray and I had to put in the footwork.
Yeah,
I had to talk to other people about it. What do you think about this? And what happens is there's going to be options. You're going to have to choose one of those options, and that's when it comes from here, like where to go.
yeah,
It's he's leading. He's steering, and I'm paddling, right? And then as long as we
yeah.
stay the course with that, right? So how's life today? I mean, like, how's the injuries? It still bother you? Like, what's your future plans? Do you have a goal or anything?
The injuries, I've got arthritis and
Right.
I'm 40, but I shouldn't have as much arthritis as I have. So that's a result of the injury and the surgery and all of that. And it causes problems sometimes, but for the most part, I'm just okay with that. I'm on the right medications at the right doses and the right frequencies to keep me
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
And that is prescribed by my doctor. My future, I don't know what holds, but
Yeah.
I know it's something amazing.
Yeah.
I just letting Jesus take the wheel.
That's right. And if it makes you feel any better, which it probably won't, I was told in my late teens. So my dad, it was 6'5", right? Basketball. So he took me to a foot doctor. And because there was this whole myth that a doctor could look at your feet and tell you how tall you're going to be. So he takes me to this foot doctor and he does like x-rays on my feet and shit, true story. And he tells me I'm going to be bigger than my dad, that I chose the right sport. And then he proceeds to tell me, wow, though, you have arthritic symptoms in your feet. And I was like fucking 15 years old. So I guess I got arthritis in my feet. I don't know. Maybe I should check that shit out. Who knows?
You can run a lot for somebody with arthritis in their feet.
Well, my feet cramp up a lot. My toes cramp up, so I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they hurt a lot. I got restless leg syndrome. I don't take the medication for it. I didn't like how it felt when I came off the medication. It's
Mm.
Equip. It's like what they give people with MS. I think. What did Michael J. Fox
Oh,
have? MS. MS. I think. Yeah, that's what they give people with that. Anyway, whatever. But okay. So you're in a meeting. Couple of girls are in there. They brand new. They newcomers. They raise their hand. I'm new. After the meeting, you approach them. What are you going to talk to them about?
well, just, tell them that it's a safe place to be. Give them my number. Tell them,
Mm.
hey, call me if you're ever struggling. Call me if you're not struggling. Show them how to have fun, because if I'm not
Yeah,
having fun in recovery, it's not worth it.
that's right.
I say it all the time. If you're not having fun in recovery, you're doing something wrong. And
Hmm.
call me. I'll show you how to do it right, because that's all we do.
That's right.
We're having fun all the time.
You know what I
My
love? I
my
love what
schedule is so packed with fun that I don't have time for other things.
but that's good. And for me, I love that you said first, it's a safe place to be. And that's my experience too. That first year I wanted to drink so many times, and I would get in that car. And I've told this story before. I lived on Bay Meadows area, so I would have to go from Southside Boulevard, make a left on Bay Meadows, go to 95 North, go 4 exits to Emerson to get to Java Club. I can remember squeezing that wheel so tight just to get there. But as soon as I got on that property, right? It didn't matter where it was. If I was going to a San Marco meal, anywhere, I just felt safe. The feeling wasn't always lifted, but once I started talking to somebody, I stopped thinking about it. And that's the thing. We have to get to that place. We got to pick up the phone, And man, if somebody like Tina could do it, y'all, you could do it. If somebody like I could do it, you could do it. Is
Yeah.
anything you want to leave us with today, Tina? You've been awesome.
I'm just really thankful for the opportunity to finally be on How to Be Alcoholic,
Yeah.
because Jeff Jack, you're my hero.
Oh, you better stop that
I'll be
shit.
as cool as you when I grow up.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, listen, you already told us how old you are. You're not that far away, okay? All right, Tina, love you. Thank you so much.
Love you too, Jeff. Thank
Hey,
you.
y'all, we're gonna put Tina's website for her jewelry. It's jewelry, right? Stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, we're gonna put in the link and all that stuff too. Join her Facebook page, okay? All right, y'all. Until next time. Bye.